a Group X instructor and the Wellness Director here at McCleskey-East Cobb YMCA. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the workout. We will be doing Mat Pilates today. So all you need is a mat and water, but you really don't even need your water. Just a mat will do. So we're going to start seated. I want you to go ahead and take your shoes off. Get comfortable. This is going to be about a 40-minute workout. And Pilates, in case you've never taken Pilates before, Pilates is about your core. It's about your abs. Of course, we know that. It's about your lower back, your inner and outer thighs, your glutes, hamstrings, your quads. Anything that helps you stand up, keeps you in balance, that is part of your core. So we're going to hit all of that today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I want you to go ahead. We're going to warm up first. Warm up the core real good. Remember, this is your workout. It's up to you how hard you work today, so take it at your own pace. Anyone, any level of fitness should be able to do this workout. So remember, it is all about you today. All right, so we're going to turn sideways on our mat. I want you to go ahead and put your feet straight out, and we're going to warm up. Okay, arms over your head. Go ahead and relax your shoulders a little bit. And we're just going to fold over. Going to fold over, get our lower back warm. Fold over a few times. Try not to bring your shoulders up around your ears. It's going to be hard, but think about it. Bring it back up. Push those heels towards that front wall. I want you to feel those hamstrings. Straight line from the top of the head to the tailbone. Deep breath in through the nose. Lift and release. Get a little bit deeper here. And bring it back up. We're going to do that one more time. Get your breathing. Deep breath in through the nose. Lift up. Lift your chest up. Release through the mouth and fold right over. Bring it back up. And release here. Go ahead and bring your heels about hip width apart. And bring your hands in front of you. If you have some type of ball, you can hold right here. And you're going to lean back a little bit. Core is tight. Your neck is in line with your spine. I want you to look up and out. If you have any lower back issues, make sure you put something between your lower back and the floor. Maybe wrap up a blanket, shove it up under there, a pillow. That'll work. Core tight. And we're just going to do some torso twists. I want you to start feeling some heat in the abs. Look up and out. Space between your chin and chest. You want to be able to take deep breaths in and out. Part of Pilates is also breathing. Deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're going to do a couple more here. I want you to press those palms together. Get a good bit of resistance in that chest. In 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back to center. And bring it up for me. Excellent job. So we're going to separate our legs. Your mat, I want you to take each heel to the corner of the mat. We're going to start with our hands, arms out. I'm going to come forward so you can see me. So your feet to the mat, the corners of the mat. You're going to bring your arms straight out, straight line from the tailbone to the top of the head. And we're just going to push like a windmill to one side, pulse, and bring it back forward. Other side, pulse, and forward. Keep your body straight. Other side, and forward. Other side, forward. Pull the belly button in towards the spine, and forward. Forward. Push those heels forward so you get a good stretch in those hamstrings. And we're about to add on here. If you want to keep it here, you can. But if you're ready to add on, I want you to bring it forward, and we're going to do the saw. So the saw is your pinky finger going to the opposite pinky toe. So when you go, you twist and you move forward, and it's like you're sawing off the pinky toe and back up. You're going to feel some burning through your quads. It's perfectly normal. Got it? Good. Switch sides. Saw it off, bring it back up. Saw it off, bring it back up. Make sure you come all the way back up to where you're sitting straight up. Push that arm behind you. You should be feeling a little bit of burn at this point. Whew. Again, this is going to be about 40 minutes long. Take it at your own pace. It's your workout. Breathe, one more each side. Remember, quality over quantity. And bring it up and release. Excellent job. Shake it out right here. Shake, shake. Because you should feel it right here, right here. All right, so I'm going to go around back to the side. Back to the side. I'm going to put my feet hip width apart on the floor. And I'm going to grab my hamstrings. I'm going to roll it back slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Go ahead. Curve that lower back. Bring it back, 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 back. And there you go. Feet still hip width apart. Your arms are down beside you. So I want you to relax your face. Relax your face. Your lower back is in neutral. So I want you to think about the curvature in your lower back. We're about to talk about imprinting. Imprinting is very important when we're laying on the floor in Pilates, because that is you pushing your lower back down into the floor. So right now your lower back is in neutral. Depending on the curvature of your back, you may be able to get your hand between your lower back and the floor. You see how I can? Depends on how much curve you have in that lower back. Some of you won't be able to, but now I want you to pull the belly button in, imprint that lower back into the floor. It's a pelvic tilt. You're going to try and bring those hip bones to your lower rib. You're not holding your breath. You're still breathing, but you are engaged here. Okay, you're engaged. Now, arms down beside you, let it go. You saw how I changed there. I'm in neutral. Now, when I pull it in, you see how it changes. So, I want you to go ahead and look straight up at the ceiling and bring your knees up at tabletop. Tabletop means your knees are straight above your hips. Arms are still down beside you, but if you have lower back issues, bring your hands below your tailbone. Very important. You should not feel any stress in your lower back. Relax your face, and we're going to start with, we're going to lower the heel, one heel at a time to the floor. Right now, your focus, I want you to focus on keeping that lower back imprinted into the floor. That's all I want you to do right now. As you lower the heel, try your best not to let your lower back come up. It's going to be harder for some of you than it is others, and it is just fine. If you can't lower it all the way, lower it a little bit and pull back up. Remember, all these exercises can be modified. Now, we're going to do this a couple more times. Y'all are getting used to this, I know. And some of you are saying this is way too easy. Don't worry. Now, we're going to bring it back up in tabletop. Now, I want you to pull your legs together. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Pull your feet together. Again, if you have any stress in your lower back, bring your hands under your lower back or your tailbone. And we're going to lower both. Lower and pull back up. Now, your quads want to take over. I want you to really feel it in that lower back, the lower part of your abs. Touch and pull. With the main focus being on your lower back, make sure the imprint does not come off of the floor. You want to make sure that lower back is engaged, and you're going to start shaking a little bit. I'm starting to. I want you to do 4 more. Now, this should be a little bit harder than the last thing we did. This was just one step up. 2 more. Last one. Bring it up. And I want you to bring those knees in. Just rock it back and forth. Relax here. Circle those ankles if you need to. Later on, we're going to be pointing the toes a lot. You may start to cramp. Just start to circle. Jump up if you need to. Remember, this is your workout. Now, from here, we're going to go to the 100. The 100 in Pilates. Your knees can be above your hips, or you can straighten. It depends on how long you've been doing Pilates. You decide. I'm going to keep my knees bent today in tabletop. Your arms are down beside you. Pull your lower back into the mat, imprint into the floor. So 100, it's a 5 deep breaths in, or 1 breath in for 5, or 5 out, or 1 out. So it's a long deep breath in or out if you're just doing 1. But if you've got 5 short ones, it's going to be short. Your head and your shoulder blades come off the floor. Look past your toes. Go ahead and point your toes. Space between your chin and chest. Go ahead and come up as much as you can, but no stress on the neck. Bring your arms up, and you're going to start pulsing your arms. I want you to move some air here, and let's start our breathing. Excellent job. I want you to grab your below your hamstrings. Release your head and your shoulder blades. My throat got a little dry on that one. Go ahead and release your legs. Oh, bring your arms up over your head and release that lower back off the floor. Stretch it out. Oh, go ahead. Get a good stretch here. Try and reach one side of the room to the other. Give that lower back a break. Now from here, we're going to go to the roll-up. This sets us up perfectly for the roll-up. You can, if you've been doing Pilates for a while, you can start the roll-up with your legs extended. That is advanced. If you would like to bend those knees, bring the feet flat on the floor, hip width apart, that's where I'm going to start. All right, so you're going to bring your lower back into the floor. Go ahead, imprint. Arms are still over your head. You're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. When you release your breath, you're going to start rolling yourself up. Once you're halfway, you're going to extend your legs, reach for the sky. Reach and fold over. And you're going to come back. Slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. Go ahead and bend those knees. Don't just drop. Make your abs do all the work. Deep breath in through the nose. Release and pull yourself up. Use your core, not momentum. It is hard, but you can do it. Fold over. Relax your shoulders. I'm telling you, as much as I am myself, slow. Bend the knees. Don't let yourself drop. Let's do it again. 1 more time. Deep breath in through the nose. Release. Try and do your best one. Take your time here. We got all the time in the world. No momentum. And back. Take your time, starting with the tailbone. Tailbone's hitting now. 1 vertebrae at a time. And boom. Very nice job. Bring those arms down beside you. Nice work. Nice job. So, from here, we're going to do a little bit of leg work. For your abs, I want you to pull the belly button in towards the spine and imprint the lower back into the floor. That's very important right here because I want you to make sure your abs are engaged. Your arms are down beside you. Your left foot is on the floor. Your right leg is coming straight up. Now here's where we're going to have a lot of pointed toe because it engages that leg immediately. You should feel those muscles tighten. Now if you need to take a break, flex, point, circle.
anytime you feel a cramp, and don't be surprised if I do. It happens all the time. All right, if you have lower back issues, you can bring your hands under your tailbone. Remember, that is an option that you can always take. Let's go down just a little bit. All right, so here, we're going to clockwise circle down to the bottom to 6 o'clock. I like to say it like a clock. You're going to come straight back up to 12 o'clock. So, take it like a clock, go around, clockwise to 6, straight up to 12. Now your hips. If you feel any popping in your hip, I want you to lessen the range of motion. But make sure those hips are staying straight. The leg is the only thing doing the movement here. Be very deliberate in your movement and keep that leg tight. I tell you, I'm already getting a cramp in my foot. Remember, you can lessen the range of motion. Keep that toe pointed unless you cramp. You're going to see me flexing my foot a little bit because I can't get rid of the cramp. Now, you should be feeling a little bit of burn, just a little bit. Muscle fatigue. I want you to feel some muscle fatigue here. Let's do 2 more. Now we're going to come back up to center, and I want you to just relax the leg. We're not done on this side. Just circle the ankle, relax the foot, and then we're going to move on. We're going to reverse. So we're going to go counter, we're going to go down to 6 o'clock, straight down, and then we're going to counterclockwise up to 12. Bring it back up, tighten that leg, point that toe, so down to 6 o'clock, counterclockwise to 12. Just reverse of what you just did. Remember, your lower back is imprinted into the floor. Should be feeling a good burning sensation in that leg. No joint pain. Remember, no joint pain. Only muscle. Muscle burn. Core's tight here, right? Relax your face, smile. I always say smiling burns more calories. So go ahead and do it. Smile through the pain. 2 more. You got 1 more, guys. All right, did you feel that? All right, bring it in. Go ahead and relax that foot. I want you to grab right below the knee. Pull it in towards your chest. Release the left leg. Ooh, get a good stretch here. Circle that ankle. Oh my goodness, that should have burned a little bit. Now your right hand is going to come on the inside of the knee. Take your left arm out to the side. Open up that hip. Open it up. The left hip bone is straight up towards the ceiling though. Don't pull yourself over your whole body, just your leg. All right, other side. Bring it up. That foot goes down to the floor. Your arms come back down beside you or under your tailbone. And you should feel a little off center right now. Like your right leg has worked really hard and your left leg is not, hasn't yet. So, guess what? We got to even it out. So, point that toe, engage that leg. Let's go down to 6 o'clock, clockwise to 12. Again, be very, very deliberate in your moves. We don't use any added weight here. So you activating those muscles in that leg is what's going to make that leg fatigue a little bit. Again, lower back. Is it imprinted into the floor? Are you breathing? Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Little reminders to help you get the most of this workout. Again, if your hip starts popping, I want you to lessen the range of motion a little bit. All right, let's do 4 more. And then we're going to switch. We're going to reverse. I always say reverse, reverse. 1 more. All right, you should be feeling a little burn, are you? Relax. Just a minute, you're not done with this leg. Circle it out. And back up you go. Point that toe, activate the leg. So, counterclockwise down to 6, straight up to 12. Remember, at any time, if you start burning too much, just take a quick break. Come back in and join me when you feel like it. Not when you feel like it. As soon as you can. Do as much as you can. I want you to be successful, but I also want you to challenge yourself. Hopefully this is a challenge right now. That leg's getting really, really heavy, burning. Let's do 2 more. All right, how'd that feel, guys? Bring it up. Oh, bring that knee in towards your chest. Relax that foot, grab right below the knee, and release that leg. You can release the lower back off the floor here if you want to. Give yourself a little break. Take the left hand on the inside of that left knee. Your right arm goes out to the side. I want you to open it up. Again, right hip stays straight up. Go ahead and look up towards the ceiling. And keep circling that foot if you would like to. Just want you to get a good hip stretch here. Take some deep breaths in and out. Get some oxygen to the muscles. Let's bring it back up. Now, I hate to say it, but we've got a little bit harder part here. We're going to do both together. So your arms are going to come down beside you or under your tailbone. Pull your belly button in towards the spine, imprint into the floor, bring them both back up. All right, point the toes and squeeze those inner thighs together. So we're going to start where we come straight down to 6. And then we're going to separate, come back up to 12. I want you to really squeeze the glutes at the bottom right here. Boom, squeeze. Every muscle that you can activate is that much better. So, do what you can here. Relax your face. Breathe. Well, they're going to do 4 more of these, and then we got to reverse it. Yes, we do. All right, now bring those knees in. Rest. Rest. Now we have to reverse. So we're going to start at 12 o'clock. We're going to separate at 12, come down to 6, and pull straight back up to 12. So bring those arms up. Legs. Legs up. Point the toes. So you're going to separate. Come down, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thighs, pull. Your workout is only as hard as you make it. Remember that. Lower back is imprinted into the floor. I'm going to lessen my range of motion a little bit because my hips are popping. And do that if you need to, anytime. My hips are saying, enough already. We're almost done with these. 4 more. You should be burning. And last one. Oh, who feels it? Who feels it? Bring it in. Rock it back and forth. Separate those knees a little bit. Rock it back and forth. Oh my goodness. Circle those ankles. Nice job. Nice work. All right, now release the legs. Arms over your head, stretch it out. Whew. Did you feel that? Shake it out, shake it out. All right, now, we're gonna get a little bit of oblique in because we've got crisscross. Some people know it as bicycle. So bring those knees up in tabletop. Bring those fingers behind your head. And so you're gonna bring your head and your shoulder blades off the floor. I want you to go ahead and point those toes. Pull the belly button in, small space between your chin and chest always. Pull your elbows back. You should not be able to see your elbows in the corner of your eyes because if you're doing that, you're probably pulling on that neck. Let's not do that. So, crisscross, you're going to straighten one leg and the knee that is closest to you, you are going to twist towards that knee. The elbow, you notice I don't pull it towards it. I'm going to keep my chest open and switch. And switch. Breathe with deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now remember, the lower the leg goes towards the floor, the harder it is. So you can always keep it up a little bit if you need to. Pull the belly button in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent job. Excellent work. Rock it back and forth. Big rock and back, forth, back. Bring the knees in tabletop, arms out into a T. Take your legs to one side. Look the opposite direction. Now while we're here, I want you to straighten that top leg. Just relax here. Bring that leg back in. Bring those knees up, look towards the ceiling, and switch sides. Once you're here, I want you to straighten that top leg. Get a good stretch on that outer thigh. Relax. Very nice work. Bend that knee back in. Bring those knees up to tabletop and release. All right, so we're going to do a couple of hip bridges here. Grab some water right here if you need it. Grab some water and meet me right here. So your feet are going to be hip width apart on the floor. Your arms are down beside you. We've only got a couple of these because we're going to move on. I just want to make sure that we get these in for our glutes and our hamstrings. So your feet are hip width apart, flat on the floor. One vertebrae at a time is going to raise off the mat, starting with your tailbone. So I want you to push your tailbone down into the floor. Breathe in, let it go, and come up. One vertebrae at a time until there's a straight line from your knee to your upper back. Once you're there, I want you to pull those feet in just a little bit, if you can, and if you can't, that's okay. Squeeze your glutes. You should feel this in your lower back also. And you're going to go down one vertebrae at a time, just like you went up until you hit your tailbone. Once you hit your tailbone, take the feet out a little bit, relax. Only one more of those. Deep breath in through the nose, push down into the mat, release, and pull yourself up very slowly. And once you think you're there, I want you to pull those feet in just a little bit towards your glutes and pull up a little more. Try and make a straight line from the knees to the upper back. Squeeze tight, squeeze tight, squeeze tight. Pull up a little more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Very nice job. Now we're going to switch our positions a little bit. We're going to come on our sides. I want your neck to be in line with your spine here. So if you could lengthen that bottom arm and just rest your head on it, that would be great. If you feel like you need to come here every once in a while to take a break from that, I'm totally fine with it. So your hips are stacked and your shoulders are stacked. Straight line. Go ahead and bend that bottom knee if you would like to. or you can keep it straight. You decide. It helps you balance if you bend that bottom knee. So you do what you need to do. So I want you to point that toe. It engages those muscles. And you're going to point two forward, brush two forward, pointed, and push behind you with your heel. So it's a point forward and a flex back. Your hip stays stacked here. We're going to add on, you're just brushing above that other leg. Just brush, brush. Forward and back. So when you come forward, your quad engages. When you go back behind you, your hamstring and your glute engages. Push, push. Pull the belly button in. Don't forget, it'll just hang out if you let it. I want you to engage. All right, two more each way. And then we're going to add on. Now we're going to bring it back to center, right above that other leg. I want you to point that toe at a 45-degree angle. You should feel your quad kick in right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to point all the way up, switch to flex, and push down with our heel. So point up and flex down. Point up and flex down. Full range of motion here. Your hips and your shoulders stay stacked. And we're going to add on from here. Try and relax your upper body. That means your face, your shoulders. If you need some added stability, bring the top fingers in front of you. You can be here with the hand. You can be here, or you can be here. You decide what works best for you. Should be burning a little bit. How we doing? Two more. We're going to add. Now we're going to bring it back down. Circle it out. Shake it out. So what we're going to add, we're going to point that toe. We're going to point at our knee. Point to the ceiling and then flex back down. So we're just adding the point to the knee. All right, you're going to start burning a little bit. Anybody burning? Anybody getting a little bit uncomfortable? You should be. Let's do 4 more. You're almost done on this side. Almost done on this side. One more, and boom, bring it forward. I want you to go ahead and pat it out. You should be feeling that right there, not only in your quad, but in that upper glute. Go ahead and relax over, pat it out, and we're gonna adjust ourselves over on the other side. So go ahead and roll yourself on the other side. You may feel a little off center. My left leg is feeling tight right now. Got to work the right side. Let's go ahead and lay down. Adjust yourself. Your hips and your shoulders are stacked. I want you to go ahead and point that toe. Remember, set yourself up for success. Pull that belly button in. You want to activate as many muscles as you can so that top glute is tight here. I want you to push 2 forward and push 2 back. Push 2 forward, push 2 back. Remember, on the front you got the quad, and on the back you got the hamstring and glute. Don't forget to smile. You're going to start feeling some muscle fatigue. If not now, you will when we start the next exercise. Let's do 4 more each way. And remember, you can always lessen the range of motion. This is your workout. 2 more each way. 1 more. Try and relax your face. Now we're going to bring it back. We're going to point that toe at a 45-degree angle. What kicks in? That quad right there. You feel that? I'm starting to cramp. Sorry. Let me circle it out real quick. So you're going to point up and flex down. This foot has gave me a problem the whole time I've been in here today. And flex. Point and flex. Remember, your hips and your shoulders are still stacked. You're breathing deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Be very deliberate here. Really squeeze. Feel that resistance on the way down. You're not just letting that leg flop down. And remember your upper hand positions. You can be here. You can be here. You can be here. 4 more, and we're going to add on. We're almost done. We're on the home stretch. Last one like this. Then you should know what we're going to add, but let's take a quick break here. Shake it out, shake it out. Think of the Taylor Swift song, shake it out. All right, so point to the knee, point to the ceiling, and then flex down. So point, point, flex. Again, minimize the rocking in the hips. Try and keep them really centered here. Now you should be burning a little bit. I am, so hopefully you are too. All right, how are you feeling? Is your leg feeling like lead right now? Let's do 4 more. 3 more really good ones, guys. You're almost done. Whew. Last one. And boom. Excellent job. Bring it forward. Pat it out. You're going to feel that right there. Pat it out real good. Nice work. While we're on this side, we're going to get some side plank in. We might as well. We're here. And then we're going to do 1 each side. And then we're going to stretch it out. So go ahead and bring it up. Remember, you've got plenty of options here for your plank. You can always take planks to the wall if you need to, so remember that. All right, so you can have your bottom knee on the floor or you can be stacked. We're only going to take this for 45 seconds, and then we're going to switch around to the other side. Remember, anytime you need to, lower the bottom knee. All right, you've got 5 seconds. That elbow is directly below that shoulder. 3, 2, and let's go. 45 seconds here. If your hip starts to drop, that middle section, I want you to lower the knee. I want you to be strong here. You're going to start shaking. You're already 20 seconds into this plank. Squeeze your glutes and squeeze your inner thighs. You only have 15 more seconds. And we're going to switch to the other side. 10 seconds. Straight line, tailbone, or a straight line from the hips to the, you know what I mean. 3, 2, and what I meant to say was your shoulders and your hips are stacked. And other side, roll it over on the other side. How you doing right now? You're almost done. Teeny bit more to go and you're out of here. All right, elbow below the shoulder. Remember, you can lower the knee at any time. 5 seconds and we're going to start this plank. Ready, set, let's go. 45 seconds, reach for the sky. 15 seconds already down. Squeeze tight, squeeze every muscle that you can in that core. Seconds. Are you shaking? I bet you can see me shaking. I'm shaking. Don't let your hips drop. 5 seconds. You got this. 3, 2, drop. Excellent job. So we're going to come down on our bellies. We're going to work that lower back just a little bit. I'm sure you've all heard of Superman. And swimming, we're going to finish up with that. We're going to stretch it out. You're out. So let's go ahead and lay down. I want you to separate those legs for me. Separate those arms. Push those hip bones down into the floor. Neck is in a line with your spine. And go ahead, come up with your arms and your legs. Squeeze your glutes. Come up the thighs as much as you can. I want you to get a good lower back stretch right here. Come up a little more, point those toes. 3, 2, and release. Relax. Your last exercise, swimming. We're going to swim it to the finish line. Are you guys ready? All right, let's do it. We're doing it together. We're going to cross together. Bring your arms and your legs up. Push your hips down into the floor. Point the toes, and let's swim. Now, you should be feeling it here and here. No stress in the neck. All right, you see the finish line. Let's go for it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and done. Bring those hands down beside you and take it back into a cobra. Stretch it out. Nice job. From here, we're going to come up onto all fours. Hands below your shoulders, knees below the hips, arch your back, look forward, stretch that lower back. Round your back, look down past those toes. Arch your back one more time. Now I want you to open up those hands. Curl those toes under and take it back into a downward dog. Push back. Relax your head, push those heels to the floor if you can, and if you can't, that's okay too. And now I want you to walk your hands to your feet. Once you're there, just fold on over. Soften those knees. And roll yourself up slowly. Shrug your shoulders back and down. Now we're going to stretch your quads. You work those quads really hard. So center yourself on your left foot. Grab something if you need it. And bring your right foot up behind you for a quad stretch. Excellent job today. Nice work. Your core is still tight with the belly button in. Release. You're going to bring your right foot over your left quad. Sit it back like you're sitting in a chair. Open up those hips. Give yourself a big smile. You did it. Hard part's over. And release. Center yourself on your right side. Your left foot's going to come up behind you for a quad stretch. And bring it down and forward. And down you go. Relax if you can. Grab onto something if you need to. You see me swerving a little bit. I'm swaying. And release. Your feet hip width apart. Your core is tight. Take a deep breath in. Bring it up over your head. Bring it about an inch to one side. Bring it up. Other side. Bring it up and release. We're going to do that one more time and you're done. Deep breath in. Oxygen to muscles and release. And guys, you are done. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Misty with the McCleskey-East Cobb YMCA. I hope you enjoyed
enjoyed it, and have a wonderful one. Thanks.